This is We Are All Fine with Heidi Lester, counsellor and psychotherapist with over 25 years of experience. Join us as we unpack emotions, relationships, and mental health strategies to help you show up as your best self.
Welcome to you all, and welcome if this is the first time of you listening to We Are All Fine. This is a place where being fine is being you. I'm here to normalise and help you accept every single part of your mental health and give you therapy skills that you can use every single day to help yourself. So welcome to all of you. My name is Heidi Lester. I'm your host. I've over 25 years of experience of working as a counsellor and psychotherapist. And what I've brought today is something that comes up many times in my counselling room and often brings with it and invites in feelings of confusion, isolation and embarrassment. And it's really tricky for people to talk about these things openly. So I'm going to have an open conversation today with you, and I hope some of what I say or all of what I say is going to help you. This episode, we're going to be talking about three things, and they're all very much connected: ghosting, connection anxiety, and that quiet emotional pain that is so many people experience in modern day relationships. And when I'm referring to relationships, I don't just mean romantic ones. I'm talking about some of the things that can show up with your family, your friends, if you're on a dating app, people with work and friendships. So make yourselves comfortable. I'll need about 10-15 minutes, and it's lovely to see you all, and welcome. Now, aren't we living in a time where there's constant communication? It's all the time. If we're texting, we're on social media, we're on dating apps, and yet clarity and emotional safety often feel harder to come by than ever before. I think I remember reading something once that we couldn't be any more busier or more connected, yet as people with the most loneliest and isolated we've ever felt. So think about this. You can be talking to somebody one day over and over again, making that connection, and then suddenly nothing. They disappear without explanation, closure, or any kind of context. And even if part of you is, oh, I shouldn't be affected, we weren't talking that long, or guess what? Your body is going to react in a very different way. So today, I want to help you understand why that happens, what it's really activating inside of you, and how you can respond in a way that protects your nervous system, your self-worth, and your emotional energy. Because this isn't about you being too sensitive. No. And it's not about you feeling or being vulnerable. It's about how, as human beings, we are wired for connection. Let's start by normalizing something. When somebody disappears or becomes inconsistent or suddenly starts to pull away, your nervous system, it won't experience that as something quite minor or insignificant. It'll feel the uncertainty that's attached to it. And uncertainty for the nervous system often equals threat, risk or danger. So even though ghosting can look like something, and we have normalized it, haven't we? And we block people. I suppose we've all done it. And we can normalize that in modern culture. Your body won't register it that way. What your nervous system will start to do is it'll become quite vigilant and want to know if it's feeling safe. Am I going to feel rejected? Have I done something wrong? And it's going to always worry that connection is going to disappear. So it's not going to feel safe. And when we can't answer those questions, because don't forget our brains are always trying to search for answers, which is why we overthink, what will happen is your system will fill the gap. And that's where anxiety, overthinking, and a horrible, horrible feeling of self-doubt is going to start to creep in. It's not because you're insecure, but it's because your attachment style and the way you've learned over the years, your relationships with people, any kind of vulnerability in those areas, if you've been let down, rejected or abandoned, that will become activated. This is where I will gently introduce the idea of connection anxiety. Now, connection anxiety isn't about needing people too much. It's about not knowing where you stand and having clarity. It's that internal sense of, I don't know if this relationship is safe or stable. Am I at risk here? And that uncertainty will keep your nervous system on a really high alert. So you might notice yourself, and I think probably most of us are guilty of this, checking your phone repeatedly, rereading messages, analysing the tone, wondering if you said the wrong thing, or feeling a really strong urge to reach out just to be able to calm your own anxiety. Now, other people, they're going to do the exact opposite. They're going to shut down. They'll tell themselves actually they don't care. It's a protective energy, isn't it? Protective mechanism. And they will pull away first so they won't get hurt. They want to get in before you do. Both responses from two different people for two different reasons make total sense, but they're protective strategies overall. And neither says anything negative about who you are. What's important to understand here is that your nervous system is responding before your rational mind has a chance to step in. This is neuroscience. This is how your brain, you are biologically put together. You're doing nothing wrong. The emotional brain reacts faster than the thinking brain. So when someone doesn't reply or disappears, your body may already be tense. Your heart might be going a little bit faster and your thoughts, they are going to be racing 1,000 miles an hour before you've even consciously processed what's happened. And that's why telling yourself, come on, calm down, it's okay, doesn't matter, is not going to work for you. Your body, it needs to feel safe first. So in moments like this going forward, instead of asking yourself, why am I reacting like this, and demanding an internal answer, try and be a little kinder and just talk to your nervous system and acknowledge it and go, okay, then what does my nervous system think is happening right now? Because it's reacting to old fears all of the time. Now, that question will shift you out of shame and belittling and judging into a real safer place of understanding, because often what's being activated isn't in the present situation. It's something older that may be layered up, and your brain and your body are just reminding you you've been here before. Many people I work with discover that ghosting or inconsistency taps quite heavily into early experiences of emotional unpredictability. So maybe parents or caregivers, they weren't emotionally available to that person, or affection wouldn't have been a constant thing. It could have been used as a punishment, or it could have come and it could have gone. So there wouldn't have been any stability there. And maybe attention needed to be earned. You were not just, unconditional positive regard, we call this in therapy, where we'll take a person for what they are no matter what they say or do. But if attention was a form of punishment for you and it had to be earned, you are going to react to being ghosted or being rejected. Or even conflict would have led to a withdrawal rather than some kind of repair for you. So when somebody disappears, the body remembers, not in words, but in sensations. This isn't you being dramatic or reacting over the top in any way. It's your nervous system simply recognizing a familiar pattern, and it's trying its best to protect you. One of the most powerful therapeutic shifts you can make is learning to pause before you react. And I don't mean suppressing your feelings. I mean creating just enough space to regulate first. That might look like just putting your phone down for a moment, taking in a big breath, grounding yourself wherever you are in the room, going and getting some water, opening a window, going outside, taking one slow breath. It doesn't matter what you do. You need the pause to be able to bring in something that will help regulate you and calm you down. And then you can acknowledge what the feeling is. And if it's anxiety or fear or shame, that's going to make total sense. Remember, your nervous system is echoing from the past. It's in those pauses, and then when you're noticing that that sentence alone can change absolutely everything for you. Because when you start to validate yourself, your nervous system, guess what? It will start to settle. From that calmer place, you can now choose, you've got back some control of whether or how you're going to respond next. This is where communication, I think, is really important. Not reactive communication, not blaming, shouting, accusing, but clear, grounded, boundaried communication where you're in control and you can start to become assertive. So you can instead of, I guess what many people do, they're going to pick up the phone and panic reply. Where are you? Never reply to me. Have I done something wrong? Just imagine how much energy that's taken and how much energy that's going to be received. It's not going to be seen necessarily as something helpful, or you're not inviting somebody into your space. That fear of yours will possibly breed other fear in the other person you're trying to communicate with. So rather than do that, if you can learn just to pause in those moments, notice, okay, I am feeling anxious when I don't hear back. How am I going to communicate with this person? You're not being needy there. You are what I think is being emotionally literate. And here's a key thing for you to take away from this podcast. If asking for clarity consistently makes you feel unsafe or unwelcome, doesn't that tell you something about this relationship? Healthy connections, they can tolerate needs, other people's needs, but they won't punish you for having them. So this might be a small little opportunity just to have a little pause and think about that emotional feedback that you're receiving. Be honest with yourself, see where it lands, see where it's touching, and just spend a moment, just be curious around what kind of communication patterns have you got with this person. I have mentioned the word boundaries, so can I just expand a little bit on what I mean? Because boundaries, I think, are always misunderstood in modern day relationships. It's not about controlling somebody else, it's about deciding how and who you will engage with. You might decide that inconsistency that we've just talked about there isn't something you want to tolerate long term. You might decide that you won't keep chasing people who repeatedly disappear off the radar. There's nothing worse than being that person that's always reaching out for somebody else but getting nothing back in return. If that's causing difficulty, maybe we need to put some boundaries in place there. Or you might decide that you need clearer communication, which is perfectly fine to ask for, to feel a little bit more secure. Now, those decisions, they're not ultimatums between you and anyone else. They are acts of self-respect. And when you honour them, your nervous system will absolutely start to listen, and it will engage in learning something new. And the message you will be sending to your nervous system is, I can protect you, which brings you out of the danger zone into a safer place. And that is what we call regulating. I'm trying to get you today to promote healing when we're talking about ghosting, connection anxiety in modern day relationships. And it doesn't mean that you're never going to feel anxious again. Please don't think that. It means the anxiety doesn't always run the show. And I bet for some of you, it's right there now in centre stage. We need to get it back. We need to get it back into the chorus line or somewhere where we can't see it full on. And you will notice this soon. The more you put boundaries in and the more you communicate to match your own needs and those of other people, and the more you can understand your nervous system is reacting before your brain, you will soothe yourself a heck of a lot faster. And you will stop, this is really important, you will stop interpreting someone else's behaviour as a verdict or evidence of your self-worth. And slowly over time, watch, because your relationships, they're going to start to change. Not because people have suddenly changed around you and we've all got it going on perfectly and we've all become the best versions of ourselves. It doesn't work like that. But because you are grounded in you, that is where you're going to feel safe. When you work from that place of safety inside of you, you will be surprised at how much you can achieve and how you can knock down that anxiety, that connection anxiety, and start to feel a lot more comfortable in the way you communicate with each other. I just want to say this clearly before we finish, a message from me to you. If ghosting hurts you, it doesn't mean you're fragile. What it does, it means it's just unsettling you. If that inconsistency doesn't feel secure, it doesn't mean you're insecure either. And if connection matters to you, that's normal. It's part of being a human being. We are bred to belong. The work is not about becoming detached. It's about becoming more secure inside of yourself and listening to the triggers and listening to what your nervous system is trying to tell you. So thank you for spending time with me today. It's been lovely to see you. This is episode 49 and it's season 2. If this episode resonated, I'd love you to share it, or please do leave me a review. Send me your thoughts. It genuinely helps this podcast. and me if we can reach out to other people who need it. And if there's any topics or anything you'd like me to share, please do send over some ideas, and I'll absolutely research and craft a podcast to help you with that. So next week, we're going to be moving into something closely connected to today's topic, and how to heal from growing up with unemotional or emotionally unavailable parents, and how that shapes the way we connect as adults today. So you're not too much, you're responding to something that matters. It's not a flaw, it's a starting point. We are all flawed, insecure, nervous and emotional, but always remember, be yourself, you are no one else. Until next time, be gentle with yourself, take great care, and I'll look forward to seeing you next Monday. Finally, some important takeaways. This podcast is for informational use only and should not be used as a substitution for professional advice or for personal diagnosis. These opinions are personal, and I do not guarantee the accuracy of such opinions or information. I am not intending to create a counselling relationship with you, and you should always consult a qualified mental health professional with any concerns.